Okay, so we've been talking about perimeter and area. We've discussed volume a bit, but we haven't really gone into detail with volume. And so we're going to do some problems with volume today. So the first thing that you're going to do, anytime you see a problem that requires you to know the volume, you're going to write your formula for volume. So because we know this whole packet is volume, I'm going to write my formula here. Now what's going to happen is that you're going to see volume expressed a different way. Volume is also expressed that volume equals the big B times H, because the big B is the area. It's going to be length times width. So sometimes you'll see the area of the base, that's the big B. So sometimes they'll give you the base and you'll have to figure out the height, or you'll have to figure out the volume. So we need to know that both of these formulas are accurate to find out the volume. Okay? All right, so let's look at number 1. Looking at number 1, so we're going to work number 1, and we're also going to work number 3. So go ahead and circle number 3. And we're going to circle number 5 because we're also going to work number 5. We're going to work the odd numbers together, and then we'll work the even numbers with a partner. You and a partner will work the even numbers. Okay? All right, so back to number 1. The kitty carrier shown below is a rectangular prism. What is the volume of the carrier? Okay, so 5th grader, what's your main idea? Yes, ma'am.
Volume of the carrier.
Volume of the carrier. All right, what do we know? What do we know? Yes, sir.
That one part is 5 centimeters and the other one's 4 centimeters.
Okay, so let's label what we know. We know the length, we're going to call that 5. This bottom number is our length. And then we're going to call this our width going back. So we can say our width is 5. And then we're going to say our height is here. And that equals 4. Okay. What I noticed that you guys were doing on some of the area problems with the perimeter and area, you were forgetting to put your units. You have to make sure that you include your units. So if it's centimeters, please indicate that it's centimeters. If it's feet, please indicate that it's feet. You have to include your units, okay? Because otherwise it's not volume or it's not area. You have to make sure that you include your units. So the volume of the carrier. Now we can just plug it in, plug it in.
Plug it in, plug it in.
Go ahead and make sure that you plug in your numbers in the appropriate places. So volume equals the 5 times the width is 5, the height is 4. All I did is plug my numbers in. Okay? All I did was plug my numbers in. Now, if you know 5 times 5 is 25, you can just do it over to the side. I know that's 25. And then times 4. 5 times 4 is what?
20.
So I put my 0, regroup my 2. 4 times 2
8.
plus 2.
10.
So my volume equals 100 centimeters
Square.
cubed. Not squared, because squared would be area. Because when you multiply for two numbers, the length and the width, you're looking at a 2D shape, and so you're squaring. But if you're multiplying 3 numbers, if you're looking at a 3D shape, doing the volume, it has to be cubed. Okay? So your answer is D. Switch it to number 3. Turn to number 3. Alright, so the volume of a rectangular gift box is 36 cubic inches. The area of the base, that's the big B that we talked about earlier, the area of the base, B, of the gift box is 6 square inches. What is the height of the gift box? So someone raise your hand and tell me the height, tell me what we're looking for. Yes, sir?
We're looking for 36 cubic inches.
Nuh-uh, we know 36 cubic inches. Yes, ma'am?
The height of the gift box.
height of the gift box. They're asking us for the height. They gave us the 36 cubic inches. We're not looking for it. They gave that to us. So height of the gift box. Yep, I like that, GB, because I don't want to write all that stuff. If you're perfectly able to abbreviate as you need to, I just want to make sure that you know what your main idea is, so you know what you're looking for when you're trying to solve problems. Okay? Underlining is fine as well. All right, so now your details should always be what you know. Okay, what do we know? Yes, ma'am.
The gift box, the whole gift box is 36 cubic inches.
Okay, so we know, and if it's cubic inches, it says the volume is 36. So I'm going to put my V equals 36 cubic inches. Okay, I know that. I've written it, so I'm going to put a check by it. Then it says the area of base, or the big B of the gift box, is 6. What else do I know? Yes, ma'am.
You know, I was about to say that the base B of the gift box is 6 squared.
Okay, so we know that the big B equals 6 inches squared. All right? Do we know a height?
No.
So that's what we're looking for. All right? That's what we're looking for. So remember those two formulas I told you about. Go ahead and write the formula that pertains to what we know. The formula that's going to help us. So that would be volume equals that big old B and the H. All right? So plug it in, plug it in.
Plug it in, plug it in.
Plug in what you know. So the volume, the V, instead of having a V, what are we going to put there? 36. So I'm going to put my 36 here. Equals, do I have my B?
Yes.
All right, so plug it in, plug it in.
Plug it in, plug it in.
Put my 6 here because that's what I have. Do I have my H?
No.
No, so I'm just going to put it right next to it. All right, because it's just like it looks here. So 36 equals 6H. Now, I know you already know the answer because you're smart 5th graders and you know your multiplication facts. So, what's your answer?
6.
6. Because what this means is 6 times something equals 36. 6 times something equals 36. That's what that means, okay? Now, you know that because you know your multiplication facts. But what if there's a number that you don't know the multiplication fact for? What could you do?
Use a composition notebook.
No, you won't have a composition notebook on your quizzes and benchmarks. Yes, sir.
Subtract 30 from 6.
Mm.
6 from 36.
Well, we don't want to subtract because right here we multiplied, so that's not it. Yes, ma'am, at the back.
Divide.
Yes, how did you get divide? How did you come up with divide?
36 and if you divide, you get 6.
I like it. She said because 6 times 6 is 36, but if you divide 36 by 6, then you'll get 6. You'll get the answer. And that's exactly what we're going to do, okay? So we need to get this H by itself. Right now it says 6 times H, but we don't really want to know 6 times H. We want to know H, right? So we're going to do exactly what she said. We're going to divide. Divide by 6. And if you do it on one side of the equation, you got to do the same thing on the other side of the equation, okay? So right now, this is kind of like when we were reducing, and I said you had to divide out the numbers that were the same when you were reducing fractions. This is very similar to that. You're going to divide out, okay? So I'm dividing out a 6 at the top, dividing out a 6 at the bottom. Because 6 divided by 6 is what? 6 divided by 6 is what? 1. 6 divided by 6 is 1, so H. That's all. Because we can assume, we know that if there's just H, that 1 is in front of it. We don't have to see the 1. The only time that we guess that there's something else is if there's another number. But if you don't see a number, then you can think that 1 times H, what does it equal? H. 1 times H equals H. So the 1 is not there. You don't see it, but it is still in there. We can imply that it is there. Okay, we can infer that it is there. Now, 36 divided by 6, please say it. 36 divided by 6. What is that? 6. Same as when we have, because this is really an improper fraction. That's an improper fraction. And when we're doing improper fractions, we divide that numerator by the denominator. This is the same premise, okay? It's the same thing. It's the same concept. So your answer would be B. It would be B. It's 6, okay? All right, so let's look at number 5. Everyone say number 5. All right, so I'm going to let you read it to yourself really quickly and set your problem up for me. Read it to yourself and then set your problem up. I appreciate all of the students that are paying attention and following that direction for me. Go ahead and write your main idea when you get it, and then we'll confirm it together. All right, so what'd you get for your main idea? Someone raise your hand and tell me. Yes, sir?
Greatest volume.
Of blocks, yes, greatest volume. Greatest volume. I did a little abbreviation there, VOL for volume. That's okay. All right, what do we know? That goes in your details. What do you know? Yes, sir?
That the height is 8 and then the big base is 4.
Okay, so he said the height, because tall and height, I mean, Miss McQueen likes to think I'm tall, although I'm not. But tall and height are going to be the same thing. So we know our H equals what? 8. Our 8 equals H. And then it gave us, it says, the container is 8 inches tall with a square base. That tells you something. The sides of the base are 4 inches. So if I were a 5th grader, I might draw a square. I would draw a square because this is my base. And I'm going to say if this is a square, that's 4, and then what is this side?
4.
It's also 4. What is this side?
4.
And that side?
4.
All right. So this could be my length, right? So my length would be what? 4. And then what would this be? 4. So do we have all the numbers we need to find the volume?
Yes.
All right, let's find it. So volume equals L times W times H. Length times width times height. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is plug it in, plug it in.
Plug it in, plug it in.
Do you have a question or you want to tell me the answer?
I have a statement.
Okay, what's your statement?
You forgot to put the units in the details.
I did. Ooh, she caught Miss McQueen. All right, I forgot to put the units and the details, and that's still important. So they gave us inches here and inches here. Go ahead and throw those inches in there. Smarty pants.
I'm smart too.
All right, so now we're going to plug in our numbers. So our length is 4, and then our width is 4, and then our height is 8. I don't expect you to be able to do it all together. You can choose the ones you know. 4 times 4 is what? 16. Do it over to the side. Now, 16 times 8. All right, 8 times 6.
48.
All right, put my 8. Regroup my 4. 8 times 1 plus 4.
12.
12. So my volume equals 128. What was my details? Inches. And then I multiplied 3 numbers, so it is cubic. Everyone say cubic.
Cubic.
So I have 128 cubic inches. Okay, say it.
Cubic.
All right. So go ahead. You're going to select a partner. You're going to work the odd number, the even numbers. You're going to work 2, 4, and 6. Today we talked about volume. I want to see on your papers how you are writing the formula and plugging in those numbers. And so when I say plug in, you're going to say plug it in, plug it in. Go.